He's coming off back-to-back 21-point performances last week. It is due to mention that this guy right here, Dylan Andrews of UCLA basketball, is bringing it on the hardwood, and he joins us on the Bruin Insider Show. For Nick Koop, I'm Bryan Fenley, and we hope to bring it in this interview, Dylan. I'm not so sure that we can reach your status, but thanks so much for joining us.
Of course, man.
The idea for you in what we're seeing out of your performances right now is that you are giving it all on the court. What does that mean for you? What boxes need to be checked for you to feel like you've given it all on the court?
I mean, at a point, it's a pride thing, man. Especially on defense, I'm always just trying to play my hardest. I don't like seeing the ball going into the other team's basket. So whatever I can to do to prevent that, I'll do. And just leaving it all on the court, just being able to say to yourself like, man, I did everything I could. So. Yeah, I try to do that every time I step on the court.
We got to talk to you last year during the NCAA tournament. You were coming off that game against Northwestern. You had those big free throws. But last year, you had your few moments a game where you got in, right? But this year, obviously, you've taken on a larger role. What's it been like making that transition to freshman year to sophomore year for you?
It's been fun. It's been a lot of bumps in the road, of course. But just being able to learn and having the older guys like last year, teach me the ropes, Jaime, Tiger, Dave, man, those guys, man, I missed them. I loved them, but, man, they showed me the way for sure. And just, learning under Coach Cronin and just being that player that I know he wants me to be and that I know I can be. And so I come in here every day and just try to get 1% better every day. And, yeah, man, it's been a lot of bumpy roads, but, we're going to stick to the process, so.
When you stick to the process and you see how much Coach Cronin cares for you, how does that make you a better defensive player?
I mean, when you have somebody that's on your tail throughout the whole entire game, every day in practice, it sets something in your brain it's supposed to click. And I'm a defensive player. Like, I came in playing defense already before I got to UCLA. I take pride in that, but just knowing that that's what's going to keep me on the floor, especially here, man. Cronin is a very defensive coach. And so, man, if you can't guard your man, if you can't, stay in front, man, be in rotations, you can't play here. So I take pride in that, and I know for a fact, like, my team needs me on the floor, so I got to be able to get stops.
And we've seen that shutdown defense throughout the conference season. Been a lot of fun to watch. In terms of being that point guard, though, on the offensive end, what have you learned about what it takes to do that, and how have you seen yourself grow into that role this season?
I mean, just being the PG, man, it's a very big role, man. Including when it's not your fault, it's your fault if the offense isn't flowing and stuff like that. So just I'm learning how to make the reads faster, taking my time, not coming off. I feel like last year, I feel like I was more sped up and just trying to get the flow of things and learning how to adjust. Versus this year, I'm still learning, of course, but every game is getting better, and I'm starting to the pace and everything is slowing down for me.
You might be a PG, but some of the crossovers that you do, you could say that they're rated PG-13, just the way you're able to break it down there. I can't believe I just said that. Dylan Andrews is with us on the Bruin Insider Show. For Nick Koop, I'm Bryan Fenley. From Gardena is where you grew up. How much pride do you have in your upbringing and where you came from?
A lot. Just where I'm from, man, just growing up, seeing UCLA basketball, just always, man, I just wanted to just be able to play there. And also just like where I'm from, man, after high school basketball, man, you don't see a lot of kids, playing at a D1 or playing at the highest level. And so, man, it's a blessing to be where I'm at. And so I know I can't take this for granted. So, I'm just trying to put on for my city.
How do you put on for your city night in and night out and work to make people where you're from proud of who you are and where you've gone and where you're still going?
I mean, just keeping my head down, keeping my head level, just being level-headed, and just knowing that, man, I can get better. I'm not where I really want to be at, and just coming in the gym every day, man, just putting in that work, and man, it's gonna show. And so that's how I feel like I can put on for my city right there, man. Just showing the work in the games and stuff like that.
The work is paying off, and those who have been in your corner since the start, who are they? What have they meant to you? And how much have they played into where you are now?
I mean, of course, I got a great family background. My godmom, my mom, my grandma, my pops who isn't here anymore, man, but he still got the best seat in the house. So I feel like my family background is just, phenomenal, and I feel like, they keep me level-headed and just they know like this situation that I'm in is a blessing, and we just can't take it for granted. So I love them for that, and they keep me level-headed, so I know for a fact like I got to stay working.
You talked about bumpy moments this season. How do you block out the noise?
Blocking out the noise, man, just knowing that, man, it's another game coming up that we can't hang our heads on this one. We got we took a tough loss against Washington State this past weekend, but we can't hang our heads on it because we got Arizona coming up. And just knowing that, keeping the guys ready and prepared, it's hard for sure mentally for, especially with a bunch of young guys, but man, we can't let that affect anything. We got to come out and play hard every time we step on that court.
Where have you found, Dylan, the greatest growth internally, mentally, emotionally, say even psychologically this season? And as Nick mentioned, the bumps along the way, but how this is going to be, in the long run, something that's going to be very beneficial to you?
I mean, I feel like I became mentally strong, and I feel like over the past of the course of me being here, I feel like my confidence is getting better as the season is going on as well. I feel like those two parts have just like really helped me out in the basketball scenario. Especially this year for sure. Just me being confident on that court helps me play better, and also I can get my teammates open, and now they're getting shots, and now we're flowing and stuff like that. And so, yeah, my confidence, I have to keep it there.
Now, when you play with that high level of confidence, it flows down to everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when this team is at its best, I'd love to get your perspective as the point guard, one of the leaders. What does it look like when this team is firing on all cylinders?
I mean, you hear us. One thing Cronin says, man, you can hear winning teams. And so I feel like, man, when we're flowing, man, you hear us all the time. We're moving, we're flying. The energy, just how it looks, how it feels, like you can feel it, including when you're not on the court. You just know, like, oh, man. So,
if I'm sitting in on a practice, how much am I hearing of you, and when am I going to be hearing your voice?
24/7. 24/7. I'm working on it. We have practice in the mornings around like 9, 10 o'clock, and so I'm working on just making sure I'm talking and being vocal throughout the whole entire practice. I'm not a morning person, so sometimes sometimes it'll take me a minute to wake up, but I'm starting to work on just making sure I'm talking, including when I'm not feeling my best or anything like that.
You brought up the guys that you missed from last year, Tiger, Jaime, Dave, and naturally, just because you're playing point guard, a lot of people want to compare you to Tiger, even though you're your own guy. You're a totally different player. How do you kind of handle that and say, hey, Tiger was a great guy. There's stuff I learned from him, but I am my own guy. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, I don't look at them comparing me to Tiger, of course, like that. I mean, I love Tiger. That's my big bro and stuff. So the comparison and like who's better and all that doesn't really matter to me or anything like that, man. I just want to get W's for UCLA, of course. But, just to be compared to a player like Tiger, man, just to be compared to, what he did for UCLA, and just, man, that's my guy. That's my big bro, man. So, comparing us, I don't really pay a mind to that. I call him and stuff like that, text him, and just try to get advice whenever I need it or anything like that. So comparing is not really a thing.
What kind of advice is he giving you?
I mean, just, learning just, especially more so in the beginning of the season, I was hitting him a lot because I was just trying to figure out things and just like, man, like, losing games, man, what do I need to do? What did you do? I know you had some bumps in the road, so like, how did you get through it? And yeah, so he helped me out a lot on that.
If I could get a little technical basketball for a sec, I love watching you in the pick and roll right now. You mentioned things slowing down, and I feel like we're seeing that in the pick and roll game with you. How have you seen that part of your game develop?
I feel like watching film has played a big part for me in, coming off the pick and rolls and just stuff like that, because I just want to see, like, where's the reads, where are other people helping from? Where's the help side? How is it big in drop? Is it big in blitz? And so I feel like me watching film has been able to, help me get to spots on the floor to get my teammates open or even get a shot for myself. And, yeah, it's starting to slow down for me especially. Yeah. But I feel like that's for anybody, especially if you're going to play games. And I'm in the game, of course. I'm playing, 30 minutes. So I feel like I just had to adapt.
Yeah.
Last one from me, Dylan Andrews, UCLA basketball, joining us on the Bruin Insider Show. So when you're looking at film, how often will you take a sequence or a play and then watch it once, twice, 3 times, and just go back and watch a single play just to totally dissect it?
Oh, so I have a notebook actually at my house and my computer, of course, and so I'll start the film, and then if I see a play, like I'm pretty much pausing every our offensive possessions, or a defensive possession that I miss a rotation on or something like that. But let's talk about offense. So if I'm just seeing like, okay, what happened here? Okay, let's say Bona comes and sets me a screen. Okay, I'll pause it right there. Is anybody helping before I come off? Is anybody moving over? Now I'll play it. I'll come off the screen, pause it. Now I'm seeing, okay, what do I have here? Is the dude on my back? Can I split? Can I snake? And so I'm just looking at just different stuff like that.
The amount of basketball you've learned, and maybe that's too general of a phrase to use, but since you've been here at UCLA, like the knowledge you had beforehand and all the knowledge you've gained since you got here, is it twice as much, 3 times as much? Like, how would you quantify how much bigger your brain is for basketball at this point?
And I feel like I've learned a lot, especially under Coach Cronin. Man, it's just the respect I have for Coach Cronin is just beyond, man. And his basketball IQ for the game is just beyond his years, and so I want to be able to pick that up and like learn from it. So anytime he's talking or anytime he's explaining something, including if it's not like towards me, I'm listening, trying to just pick that up. And I feel like that's been working. I've been doing that since day one.
Your brain cells are growing. Your role on this team is growing, and as we wrap up this conversation, to call you a certified bucket getter is just the beginning of this journey for you at UCLA. For Nick Koop, I'm Bryan Fenley. Dylan Andrews on the program here. Dylan, thanks so much.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys.